Hey, it's Josh Saltzman here from Robert's Camera, and today we have some new toys from Canon. Let's check them out.
Wow.
All right, so here it is. We have the Canon EOS R6 II. Feels about the same as the R6. A couple noticeable differences on the body. Here on the left-hand side, you have a video and photo mode switch, and the power, which used to be over there on the R6, has moved over here in front of this thumb wheel, and that's where you have your off, your lock, and on function there. Most of the big changes that we saw in this camera are going to be inside the body, in the specs. So I'm gonna charge up this battery, which is the LPE6 in H still, and I'm gonna go out and shoot it here in downtown Minneapolis, and I'll come back and tell you all about it. See you soon. But wait, first I do have to say that this is a pre-production camera, so any of the images or videos that we show on the screen from the camera is a pre-production software, so nothing's final. All right, here we go. All right, so here we are back in the studio. I had a great day shooting with the R6 II. I went down to the canals, was photographing some ducks, some runners, some landscapes, did some cityscapes. Also took it to the airport to try out some of the new autofocus features that it has that are new to the R6 II. We'll get to that a little bit later. And generally, it was a great camera. I really enjoyed shooting it. It's very fast, beautiful image quality, and some really cool upgrades. So first, starting with the sensor, it is a 24 megapixel sensor versus the R6, which was a 20 megapixel sensor. That's not gonna make a huge difference for most shooters, but if you are someone who wants to crop in, or if you're making big prints, having an extra 4 megapixels never hurt anybody, so that's pretty cool. Next, they added some really cool stuff with the electronic shutter on the R6 II. The mechanical shutter shoots 12 frames a second, but when you switch to the electronic shutter mode, you can shoot at 40 frames a second. So if you are a wildlife or bird photographer, a sports photographer, or even shooting weddings, anything where stuff can happen in a split second, you want to make sure that you get that single moment that you need, 40 frames a second is really going to help you out there. For video shooters, they have made some substantial upgrades to this camera to make it a much more viable video option. They have 4K 60 recording in the camera, oversampled from 6K, which is really cool. And in simple terms, that just means that the 4K footage is gonna look a little bit crispier, a little bit sharper and nicer than if it was just a native 4K. You can shoot 6K with this camera raw. You just have to use an external recorder like an Atomos Ninja or something like that, and that's pretty standard. Another cool thing that they did is that they pretty much did away with the record limit. Instead of the 30-minute limit that is in a lot of cameras, they have, I think it's a 6-hour limit, so basically you can just hit that record button and let it run until your heart is happy or until your memory cards get full. Pretty great that you don't have to run back and forth trying to make sure if you're videoing something long, make sure that your camera's still recording every 30 minutes. In the autofocus system, they made some cool upgrades which kind of mimic the more pro-level cameras like the R3. It's not gonna be the same autofocus system, but it's giving you a lot more of those cool features, and that's in photo and video. You also get new subject detection, which adds, I think, airplanes, horses, motorcycles, and I think a couple of other things. So if you're in a specific area where you're shooting and you need your focus to lock on, it's going to be able to lock on and track those specific things a lot more easily now. One of my personal favorite things that they added to this camera is a teleconverter for 2x and 4x magnification, while still giving you a 24 megapixel image. It zooms into a section of the image and then makes more pixels so that you're still using a large file. If you're comparing a 4x photo to shooting a lens natively, you're probably going to get a little bit more resolution and sharpness out of the native one, but still, I know that I've been in personal situations where my longest focal length is 85 millimeters and I'm photographing something very far away and I'm just not able to get it, or I have to crop in really tight and lose a lot of resolution, and this feature would be a really great thing to have in those situations. If you have the R6 right now and you're looking at the R6 II wondering if you should trade up, I would just say carefully look at the upgrades that they've made to this camera. If any of those really call to you, or you think that it would really advance your workflow or make your life a little bit easier in photo and video, then now might be a good time for you to upgrade to that camera. Although I will say that the R6 is still a great camera and you can still get great images and video from that as well. If this is your first camera and you're looking at the R6 II, I would say that yes, it would be an amazing camera for a beginner and it would last you for a very long time. But some of the other cameras in the R lineup, like the R7 and the R10, which you can watch videos on over here, might be better options as far as the menu setup and the ease of use into learning how to use a camera for the first time. The R6 II is loaded with features, and I would say that it would be a great camera for anyone, whether you're just starting out or whether you're a professional. This could be a great camera for you. If you would like to get an R6 II of your own, please give us a call at the store or visit us at robertscamera.com. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments here. We'll do our best to get back to those as quickly as we can. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. I'm Josh Saltzman with Roberts Camera. Thanks. Have a great day.